I want to have you guys a warm welcome by lesson 6. I'm Damien, and today we're going to talk in lesson 6 about the importance of positivity. We have arrived at the planning and goals. The planning is, as always, reading planning and the goals, closure on last lesson, instruction, exercises, and conclusion, and what we are going to do next lesson. For this lesson, we have two goals. That is, you know what, it is better to stay positive in life, and you know how you can be more positive in life. So, I'm going to learn you a valuable trick so you can be more positive in life. We're now going to the closure on last lesson. We have arrived at the closure on last lesson. I don't know if closure is spelled correctly, but yeah, let me know in the comments. The goals for last lesson were. Oh, wrong one. You know the four types of reflecting questions that you have, and you can use the reflecting questions on the right time. What I want you to do is that you are going to describe, as always, what are the four types of reflecting questions that you had, and when can you use which type of question. That is the categories. So like the notes that you needed to make last lesson. Now we are. If you aren't done with that, please set the video on pause because we're going to pause and answer for the questions last lesson. What we did. We had last lesson 4 questions and 2 from that were like questions that you can get in school. And like type of questions. They don't talk about mindset, unfortunately. I find that really weird because that's the most important thing that you learn in your life. All the things about mindset, but going back to the video, the answer of the first question was by the category for action, and it can be all three the questions that were in the category for action. And the second question was are were two questions. That is, why did I do what I do? What went wrong, and how can I prevent it next time? That were the questions from last lesson, and the answer from last lesson. Now we're going to the instruction. We have now arrived at the instruction. This instruction, as you see, is going to be is consisting about 3 quotes that we are going to talk about. Those 3 quotes are going to explain why it's better to be positive. Firstly, we're going to talk a quote about Michael Pilarczyk. Michael Pilarczyk was also the man who inspired me to go do this. So yeah, a quote from him was, "Change your mindset and your existence will change." That is what I mean with that is if you are going to be more positive in life, your environment will also be more positive. When you are positive, you have a somewhat yeah signal that you can't see, but that is more infectious than a virus. So that is what he means with this quote. Change your mindset and your existence will change. That is what he means. This was the first quote. The second quote is from American basketballer Zig Ziglar, and his quote is, "Positive thinking lets you do everything better than negative thinking." Where this is going about is that when you are more positive in life, you will get more energy and you can do things better than if you are negative. Like if you think, for us Dutchies, it's now the test week, so that's the reason why I'm going to use that. When you think, oh my god, I'm going to fail this test week so fucking hard, then you can see that 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 you haven't that you have less energy, because when you are more negative in life, you will can get less energy. And then in the third quote, then you will fail your French exam, as an example, or your physics exam. So that is what he means with the quote. Positive thinking lets you do everything better than negative thinking. As I had already a small introduction on the third quote, attitude is a choice. What you believe you can do, positive or negative, confident or negatively, you can't see that because there is a big black thing here. I don't know why it's here, but yeah. Afraid will most likely happen. So yeah, when I am going to say, yeah, I eventually when I'm big, this channel is famous. I have more than 2 million subscribers. And then if I'm going to work, what was also lesson 1, so I'm going to make this channel the most famous channel in the world, then eventually it becomes the most famous channel in the world. And if you do negatively, yeah, this channel is going to be sucking a lot. This channel isn't going to be anything famous. Then you have then it will happen. Then I'll eventually post one time less, and then it's going to be like a balloon where all the air is going out of it. That is what he means with this quote. That summit. We're now going to the assignments. We have now arrived at the exercises. For this assignment, you will come to understand that it's better to approach life with a positive mindset. You have 2 exercises with 3 steps in it, both. So you will have 6 steps. No, not 7. No, not 6, 7. Fuck off. And with that, you will come to the conclusion that it's more good. It's better to think positive about life. By exercise 1, the first step that you need to take is write down a negative thought that you had this week. So was there anything bad that happened this week? And that you write down. You need to have room under it. Because the next step, if you aren't done, set the video on pause, is think about how you can transform that thought into a positive one. So, like if my thought was it was bloody hot here in the Netherlands, then a positive thought can be, oh, but yeah, I'm going on vacation to get this type of warmth. And then the third step is write down what would happen if you to your thoughts if you more often turned negative thoughts into positive ones. This is the whole exercise 1. Exercise 2 is is looking slightly different, but is looking very much the same. That is exercise 2.1. I mean, the second exercise starts with step 1. Write down 3 situations in which you could have responded more positively. So this is the same as step 1 by exercise 1, but then 3 moments in the whole of your life. So you can do it when you were born or yesterday. It doesn't matter. That is step 1. Step 2 is Write down how you normally respond to that situation. The third step, the last step, is for each of the situations, write down how you could have responded instead. That these were all the exercises. If you are not done with them yet, please set the video on pause because then I can go to the last slide, the conclusion and what we are going to do next lesson. We have arrived at the conclusion and what we are going to do next lesson. At the start of this lesson, you needed to describe the goals from lesson 5. What I want you now to do to see if you had understood this lesson is describe the goals, and the goals from this lesson were, you know why it's better to stay positive in life. So what I want you to do with this quote is describe why is it better to stay positive in life. And the second one, you know how you can be more positive in life. What I want you to do is describe how you can be more positive in life. If you aren't done with that, set the video on pause because I'm going to tell you what we're going to do next lesson. Next lesson, we're going to talk about the importance of meditation, and then I will explain it. That this stereotype on this awful photo here is wrong. 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 This isn't the right stereotype. Before that, we're going to close the video. Give yourself a grade. We're now going to do it one time on the American grade system. If you have an F, you had learned nothing from this lesson. You had put it on as background music, and you could had better things to do, and it's dumb that you had to watch this video. If you have a D, a C, or a B, then you had learned something, but it was not much. And if you had gotten an A, that means that you have spent good time on this lesson, and you had understood it all. Please react in the comments if you have a F, a D, a C, a B, or a A. Because you have no E in the USA. I don't know why. But yeah, that is it. If you found this video interesting to watch, please select the subscribe button. Please click on the thumb emoji. Share this video with someone who has something from this video. And then I will see you next week, Wednesday, with the BAM block on my TikTok channel. Have a nice day, everybody. Bye.